The Inland Revenue Division observes Tax Awareness Week this week. Caribbean Growth Forum Dominica chapter launched on Friday, and educators of special needs children sharpened their skills. Hello and thanks for joining us on another edition of National Focus. I'm Mervin.
And I'm Tarnia Green. Stay with us for the details of the headline stories and others right after the break.
Documentaries and in-depth discussions, community walkthroughs, and Yes We Care. See it all on GIS Channel 7.
Welcome back. Time now for the details of the news. A Thanksgiving service at the Diocesan Pastoral Center on Monday marked the official start of Tax Awareness Week 2013. Comptroller of the Inland Revenue Division, Irvin Williams, says throughout the week-long celebrations, the department will seek to educate taxpayers on the importance of paying taxes. The department, he explains, is taking a no-nonsense approach to tax defaulters.
I think it is now fitting to inform non-compliant people that action will be taken against those who do not comply. Therefore, all I encourage to voluntarily pay their taxes that are due. The Inland Revenue will be working with the appropriate authorities to ensure that people do not travel without a valid exit certificate. The names of VAT defaulters will be published in the newspapers, and court action will be taken against defaulters, both non-filers and non-payers. These are just a few of the stringent measures that will be taken against tax defaulters and tax evaders. We appeal to all defaulters to file and pay your taxes and avoid us having to proceed with any of the actions that I have just mentioned.
During Monday's ceremony, the work of 3 long-serving employees of the Inland Revenue Division were formally recognized. Customer Service Awards were also presented to 3 employees. The department also recognized participants of the Caribbean Organization of Tax Administrators 2012 essay competition, as well as the teachers who assisted them. Acting Prime Minister Honorable Reginald Ostry delivered the feature address at Monday's ceremony. Honorable Ostry voiced full support to plans by the department to introduce online services.
This feature, when implemented, will make filing quicker and easier and at the convenience of the taxpayer. For the Inland Revenue Division, this means of making the division more efficient in delivery of services to the public. It should result in improved database reduction and in the cost of paper, service, and easier payment of refunds. E-filing also is a first step in making tax payment by electronic means.
With me at the Government Information Service is Mr. Ian Michael Anthony, who is one of the members of the committee who is responsible for the Tax Awareness Week activities. Mr. Anthony, welcome to GIS Studios.
Thank you very much, Mr. Matthew.
Mr. Anthony, first of all, I noticed that the Inland Revenue Division is moving into online services. Talk to us about that.
Okay. What it is that we've recognized as a division the need to look at the ways we do business in terms of providing taxpayer services. And online is one of the in things now. It is cheap, it is convenient, it is fast. And so we have decided together, I must add, with our sister islands of Grenada, St. Lucia and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, to embark on this online tax filing project.
Now, with online services, there's also always the concern by the public with privacy of information. How are you all addressing this?
That will be addressed for the security aspects of the system. As was hinted at the ceremony we had this morning, the data will be encrypted and sent via a secure means, so persons don't have to worry about that. We're also looking at enacting, well, not we, but government will enact data protection legislation that will take care of those needs so that persons can feel assured that the information they send us will be sent via secure means. of course, as well, we have a very important role to play in the whole scheme of things, in that we as tax officers subscribe to an oath of secrecy. Okay. So even outside of the whole online environment, we already have systems in place in the laws we administer to keep information secret. Okay. And so what I see is from my eyes only.
Okay. Another matter is, how soon can we expect this to come on stream?
Okay. We are working towards a July 31st deadline. By that time, the e-filing platform will be available in all the islands: Dominica, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Grenada. Grenada will implement first, Dominica implement last. So there's a project plan that will take us through to the 31st of July.
Now, during this week of activities, what is the message you'll be taking to taxpayers?
The message is as simple as this, that very soon, come the end of July, you will have the opportunity as a taxpayer to file your tax returns online. Let me mention as well that we are doing first the personal income tax, the corporate income tax, the value-added tax, and 2 of the excise taxes. Later on, after implementation, we will add on additional taxes.
What advantage do you see for, well, I know for the taxpayers in terms of ease of payment, ease of transaction, for example, but in terms of the department, what sort of advantage you see?
One thing for sure is that as we speak now, and we're in what we call the filing season, returns are coming in, and officers have to literally key in each return manually. So if we get 600 returns at some point in time, let's say we get 600 returns within a 2-week period, everything has to go through the system manually. We have to enter the date you file, we have to enter all of that data and everything. What the e-filing system will do for us is that you will go online, complete the form. Once you hit the submit button, that will come to us, so that we don't have to key in all the data. What we'll concentrate on is verification of what was entered in the system and then continue the processes.
Finally, and time is running out, what are some of the activities planned for this week?
We will mainly be doing radio programs this week. And so what we will do is do 2 more radio programs during the course of the week that will sensitize persons more on the e-filing system. That is just the beginning, because later on there will be more education, there will be training as well provided to taxpayers and of course our tax officers. So that this week is really like the teaser, whetting their appetites to let them know that the system is coming. Later on we'll provide more information. Okay,
thank you very much, Mr. Anthony.
You're welcome.
In other news, the Caribbean Growth Forum launched the Dominica chapter last Friday at the Fort Gem Hotel. The forum, which was first launched in Jamaica in 2012, engages stakeholders including the private sector, the media, the youth, policymakers, civil society, and the Caribbean diaspora in discussion about economic growth. Sylvia Donhert is Executive Director of Compete Caribbean at the Inter-American Development Bank. She delivered remarks on behalf of the partners of the Caribbean Growth Forum.
The CGF is a facilitated methodology for public-private dialogue around issues central to private sector development and growth. The Caribbean Growth Forum brings a non-traditional approach to the greatest challenge currently faced by the region, which is creating sustainable and inclusive growth. The CGF aims to facilitate an action-oriented dialogue among stakeholders from the public and private sectors, academia and civil society, as well as the Caribbean diaspora, on a focused and sustained discussion about key policy reforms needed across 3 thematic areas: investment climate, logistics and connectivity, and skills and productivity.
Governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, Sir Dwight Venner, describes the forum as a conscious effort by Caribbean states to move from merely surviving to prospering. Sir Venner also considers the forum as a means of effecting economic change as a Caribbean body instead of individual islands.
A framework for addressing the growth and development challenges at the regional level has been established. This addresses a very important question of the characterization of our economies as small, open, and vulnerable, and what will be a viable way to address these major issues. This means that when a decision maker gets down to addressing these issues, he or she must think in dual mode. Can this problem be resolved within the confines of Dominica alone, or do I have to go beyond? This new possibility and focus must become a part of the mindset and solution kit available to both the public and private sectors in the OECS. Let me emphasize that, because when we drill down to look at our problems, we look at them in a very narrow focus. And now what I'm saying is by law and by treaty, that is no longer the case. And we have to ask ourselves if that is in fact a viable solution to our problems. We have struggled for a long time as single entities. It's only for the OECS I can speak definitively in the wider sphere that those things that are regional have been successful and maintain our stability.
Honorable Ambrose George represented Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit at the forum and related government's growth and social protection strategy as Dominica's own efforts at development.
This forum today is a means to start the process of identifying steps that will take us to action. The GSPS, which I mentioned earlier, identifies the critical constraints to our development and singles out inadequate infrastructure as the building constraint, as the binding, constraint. It also outlines the sectors where we expect to focus and suggests the area where interventions are most beneficial. In response to the strategies outlined, government's pursuit of economic growth has been multi-pronged. We have pursued an ambitious capital program that focuses on improving physical infrastructure and providing investment in critical sectors such as agriculture and tourism. In addition, we have invested heavily in activities intended to reduce the cost of doing business. Here, I refer in particular to the investments at the customs, in the magistracy and the registry. Recently, we have focused on improving the legislative environment so as to make it conform to current best practice and thus contribute to improving the overall investment climate.
Honorable George also identified the exploration of the island's geothermal potential as another step in the right direction. Sylvia Dornhurt of the Inter-American Development Bank considers government's growth and social protection strategy an advanced step to affect the economic progress of the Caribbean.
You, as a country, Dominica, have a very good starting point because you already have a national growth and social protection strategy, and you have a government that has put growth at the center of the agenda. The focus here then for this particular Caribbean Growth Forum is to contribute to identify the priorities within the 3 pillars of the CGF that can contribute to the GSPS. In this respect, the CGS methodology has been designed to result in a consensual, concrete action plan with specific responsibilities and timelines, and it has built-in transparency and accountability mechanisms to make sure that over time, results are delivered. In this sense, it's as an accelerator of your GSPS.
Setting the tone for stakeholder discussions was senior energy specialist at the World Bank, Migara Jayawardena. His presentation titled Moving Forward the Growth Agenda in the Caribbean placed Dominica side by side with Caribbean countries in areas of economic growth indicators.
Dominica is actually quite well poised to take advantage of some things coming up in the future. Now, part of this slowdown in growth has also meant that initially you had your public debt go up, but what it also shows is that it is holding steady at roughly around 70% of GDP, and in your case you have a deficit that is coming down. These are good signs because it shows stability going forward. But it also, at a debt level around this, it also means that there is limited fiscal space to do a lot more government spending. And that means looking at partnerships, particularly looking at engaging the private sector, leveraging public funds, and things of that nature. And in that sense, the overall investment climate that you're working in becomes quite significant.
According to the presentation, the top 2 factors negatively affecting the business environment are access to financing and electricity. Giordana, however, highlighted that among other regional countries, Dominica is more advanced in geothermal potential and development, which may reduce electricity cost. The first phase of the Caribbean Growth Forum is the identification of growth enablers at a national level. Those enablers have been identified as investment climate, logistics and connectivity, and skills and productivity. 3 working groups were established on Friday to address the specific themes of growth enablers. At the end of 5 to 6 weeks discussion, each working group is expected to present recommendations which will be formed into growth action plans for the execution of activities during an initial period of 12 months. The Dominica launch was the final in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union.
In more news, 20 teachers are being trained this week on how to assist children with special needs in achieving their fullest potential. The group of teachers includes 6 from the Alpha Center, 2 from the East Lucati School in the Kalinago Territory, and 12 other educators from across the island. A specialized team of professionals from the Rotary Club of Orleans in Canada is conducting the week-long training exercise at the Alpha Center. The project team, which comprises 2 autism spectrum disorder consultants and an early childhood educator, is led by Julia Ginley. Ginley says the teachers will be trained on a special system of assessing special needs children using the Functional Independence Skills Handbook of FISH.
The objective of the training is to assist the teachers in assessing special needs children and then developing learning plans. Our experts, our autism and special education experts, have identified a package that's called the Functional Independence Skills Handbook that they will be using. This handbook is referred to as FISH, so I'll refer to it as FISH because it's a little shorter. The FISH is an assessment instrument used for determining a person's ability to perform certain functional activities in their daily lives. The outcome of the program is a direct increase in personal independence in those with autism, intellectual disabilities, and related disorders. With this training, we are taking a train-the-trainer approach. So once these teachers have completed their training this week, they will be able to train other teachers. And a number of the teachers have agreed to do further training. So we're really pleased about that.
And President of the Dominica Association for the Mentally Handicapped, Claudia Ballard, believes this training program will complement and improve the work of the teachers at the Alpha Center. Ms. Ballard has encouraged the participants to take advantage of the training.
You have at your disposal this week, expertise that normally we would not, have on a regular basis in Dominica. And I really want you to take advantage of their skills and of their expertise so that you can improve in what you are doing. I'm sure that there are many more children out there who require the kind of services that the Alpha Center provides. And I know that the Ministry of Education is attempting to integrate special needs programs into the mainstream schools. And so the teachers who are here from the Ministry of Education, you have an opportunity to imbibe some of the skills that are being given this week, and to ensure that whenever you have students at your schools who require, special attention, that you can provide that special attention to them.
The Rotary Club of Orleans Canada's team's visit to Dominica was facilitated by the Rotary Club of Dominica and the new Provisional Rotary Club of Portsmouth.
In more news, hundreds from all sections of society gathered at the Methodist Church in Margat last Saturday to pay their last respects to Meshach Hamilton Linton, a retired educator, credit union leader, and former senator in the Parliament of Dominica. Meshach, who died on March 4th at the age of 87, was laid to rest in his home community of Margat following an official funeral service. Methodist minister Reverend Dodds, who conducted the funeral service, challenged the church to live a life pleasing to Jesus Christ.
I pray, God, that you will treasure the gift of life you have, and that you will not let your life go in vain, not knowing that Jesus Christ is your personal Lord and Savior. And as I often say at funerals here, you may not like the Methodist Church, you may not like the Roman Catholic Church or the Baptist Church or wherever, but I want to encourage you that if you are in Christ, words alone won't do it. I want to encourage you that if your life is in Christ, find some place where you can worship and celebrate life.
Lennox Linton, one of his 9 children, in delivering the eulogy, described his father as a man who lived an exemplary life of service.
Honesty was his best policy, and he always admonished us to understand that those who lie, cheat, and steal are never comfortable in their wrongdoing. There is a little something inside of us called conscience, he said, that never lets us forget, nor does it allow us to be at peace inside with whatever evil we may choose to get involved in. Missy's advice to us was straightforward. It's past with passing. Speak the truth. Be yourself. Never allow yourself to be driven by the material possessions of others. Be satisfied with what you have and what you can afford. Work hard, work smart, and keep learning.
Of the several hats worn during his active years, Mr. Linton will be remembered for his service to the country in the area of education. He served as principal of 9 primary schools and education officer, a position which took him to the length and breadth of the country. Throughout the period from 1980 to 1985, Mr. Linton served as a senator on the government side of the Dominica House of Assembly. His son remembers his father as a man who stood for what was right.
An educated heart, Teacher Mishak dedicated himself over the years to first-class service in a variety of public interest engagements. In every assignment, in every responsibility, he was honest, efficient, and results-oriented. In matters of state governance, this close confidant of former government leaders Edward Oliver LeBlanc, David Virginia Charles, Edison James, was fiercely independent and dutifully honored the public interest without fear or favor, affection or ill will. It didn't matter to him that it was red, it was green or blue, it only matters it was the right thing to do.
The late Mishak Linton was also a former chairman of the Dominica Banana Growers Association, a foundation member and first president of the Margaret Credit Union. He also served on a number of statutory boards, including the Board of Education, the Housing and Loans Board, the Electoral and Boundaries Commission, and the Public Service Commission. In 1999, Mr. Linton was the recipient of the Cicero Award of Honor and is survived by his wife Richie Burton Linton, 9 children, 17 grandchildren, and 12 great-grandchildren. And that's the English segment of the news. We now join McPherson St. Luce for the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non, moi, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, département taxe qu'a observé semaine ça la semaine taxe. Département là qu'a tient plusieurs activités tout long semaine ça là. On bagaille, yo ka mettre attention à c'est pour éduquer monde. Ou là, ça file returns you et d'autres bagailles à internet.
Tous les années, nous avons 6 semaines taxes et nous avons éduqué le public là, qui a plus d'informations, tout bagaille qui n'est pas fait et puis taxes. Et 6 semaines ça là, l'année ça là, nous avons 10 personnes là pour envoyer papier taxe sur nous. Yo ça fait sur computer yo, sur internet là. So ça nous avons promoté bagaille ça là. Là, où ça aller sur le computer, où ça fait return et voyer nous.
À la nouvelle, travail qui continue bien formidable à ce projet de l'Ouest Coast Pays là. Parole ça là sorti officier relations publiques compagnie là Edward Regis.
Nous aussi ni projet West Coast Water Supply Project là, avec Consav, projet ça qu'a couru pour un petit temps à présent. Nous séparons le projet ça en 3 différents segments. Avec deuxième segment, qui a commencé avant premier segment. Ça c'était nécessaire parce que nous en segment ça nous avons pour courir pipe hors village Baoui pour arriver en Capuchine. Avec nous sommes supposé faire ça parce que comme ça c'est mon la hors pays chinois qui a bâti Chimia. Comme ça avant de bâtir Chimia, parce que nous sommes pour fouiller Chimia, nous fait segment ça premier. Avec mon bien content pour dire nous fini courir ces pipes là hors Baoui pour Capuchine. Ça même fini avec à présent ça nous a fait nous a ranger chimia là nous te fouiller tant pour Capuchine nous a ranger ça nous pour faire ça nous a nous faire pressure testing nous presque fini ça en segment ça comme ça nous bien content ça nous a dit segment ça presque fini.
Et puis State College Dominica offert associate degree pour teacher en différentes catégories. Parole celle-là sortie au directeur d'éducation State College Dominica, M. Mervin.
Nous avons associate degree pour teacher l'école secondaire. Nous avons associate degree pour teacher l'école primary. Et puis nous avons associate degree pour teacher early childhood. Ça c'est teacher preschool. Et puis ça va aller bien. Toutes ces associate degrees ça c'est pour 2 ans si on moun ka vini tous les jours. Mais si à Dadio quand associate degree secondaire, yo ka vini tous les jours mais après-midi seulement. Comme ça il que point yo teasing plus long pour compléter associate degree ça. Comme ça c'est moun ça qui point 2 ans et demi si on pas qu'à faire pas qu'à faire bien à dans certaines courses yo que peut-être point 3 ans. Mais normalement, si on monde ka vini si on monde ka attendre associate degree ça, c'est 2 années. Même si c'est preschool, primary school, et bien l'école secondaire.
Et puis finalement, festival francophonie ka couru et puis diverses activités. Mademoiselle Hannah Massicotte, c'est officier organisation la francophonie en Dominique.
Nous avons des activités qui ont point place en Alliance française, nous avons montré ces enfants-là en film en français. Et puis nous avons un grand festival pour toutes ces l'école primaire là en Dominique, où là ces enfants-là qui viennent à Goodwill Primary School, Goodwill, pour festival ça là. So nous peut-être toutes c'est l'école primaire là en Dominique qui viennent à Goodwill première, l'école primaire à Goodwill pour showcase talents. So ça a les points place Wednesday, mercredi ça a les points place à Goodwill Primary School le 20, mercredi le 20.
Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelles en créole pour à présent. Non, moi c'est McPherson St. Luce. Au revoir.
Thank you, McPherson. Coming up next, your tip of the day. Get the most out of your vegetables. Vegetables offer a great source of vitamins and minerals, but only if they are treated right. If you overcook them or store them for too long, all the nutrients could be lost. Steaming, boiling, or eating them raw are the best ways to make sure your body gets all a vegetable has to offer. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm, or you could visit our website at news.gov.dm.
Friend us on our Facebook page and be sure to like our GIS Dominica fan page. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm your presenter, Tarnia Green.
And I'm Mervin Matthew. Thank you so much for watching.